There have been quite a few changes in staffing this year, so I thought I'd reintroduce all the animals that we have. This week we're going to hit the hundreds more in 1 week than we did all summer last year, probably for the last 2 years, so we're making up for it. Miley is a red golden retriever. She does not have Irish setter in her at all. Kaipu is an Anatolian Shepherd mix. They're used as livestock guardian dogs. This is Ethel. She's the top boss. Anastasia, Lilo, Merida, Lavender, Julie, Cho, Aurora, Pinky, Mustang Sally, Blondie. Is that everybody? Oh, Grayback and Buckbeak over there. Buck. That's Mustang Sally. Buckbeak's behind her. Anastasia's my number 2 girl. We also have bobwhite quail and one California or valley quail. His name's Ranger back there. Clara is fairly new. She's named after Clara from the Nutcracker. These are my dart frogs, Bailey and Peyton. And here's my ewe Katniss. She's a Southdown. She's 4 years old, and hopefully next spring she'll have babies. And here is the ram, PETA, who's currently grounded for eating quail food and ramming me. He's pretty sweet, but rams are rams, and they just run up behind you and ram you for no reason. He is a Wensleydale cross, and both of these sheep are seasonal breeders, so they can live together. Pause for a moment while I help my cow drink from a bucket because she's too good for the stock tank now. We breed registered Nigerian dwarf goats. So these are my does that have just had babies this past spring. There's Ruby, named after an army friend. Mary Reed, named after a pirate. And Anne Bonny, also named after a pirate. Here are the bucks. We have Jack Rackham, obviously a pirate. Henry Morgan, a pirate. And Lefty from the song Poncho and Lefty of Willie Nelson's. Lefty is our top stud. He always throws moon spots on all of his kids, which are just a circular spot, and people go after that. Jack Rackham is polled, so he's naturally hornless, so that's a good trait to pass on. He's also really smart. And Morgan, we're thinking about getting him castrated and getting those horns removed because he has gotten stuck in the fence. We did attempt to get them removed when he was little, but obviously it didn't work. Here are my junior does, Elise and Charlotte. They are a few months old and won't be bred till next fall of 2023. They are also named after pirates. This is Ryan's goat, named Jack Jr. He is our only wether. What is a wether, you ask? Here are the turkeys. These are standard bronze-breasted turkeys. They are the 3 that escaped the dog attack in October of 2021. This is Mavis, the hen. She laid a set of eggs earlier in the spring. I tried to incubate them and they just weren't fertile. But I don't think the toms are fertile in their first year, or so I've read. Here we are at the pigs. This is Hagrid, our herd sire. This is Gwendolyn, our remaining sow after Dolores didn't make it. Gwendolyn had a stillborn piglet 2 days after Dolores and then was fine. Showed no signs of labor, wasn't pushing. She got up and ate and drank, unlike Dolores. And then 4 days later, she delivered another stillborn. And ever since then, she's been completely healthy looking and eating like normal. It was really weird. And here are Dolores's piglets that we are bottle feeding. This is Peppa, the female. We are looking into how we could keep her, but this IPP breed is so new that we have to switch around genetics a little more often. There's a calculator. This is Wilbur, by the way. There's a calculator for inbreeding, in fact, because the breed is so small, so you have to make sure that the inbreeding coefficient is less than 10%, ideally less than 5%, and in a perfect world, less than 1%. This is Chisholm. He's a steer, about a year old. Crockett is our bull. He is a registered longhorn and he's about a year old. Ladybird is 3 years old. She's also a registered longhorn. And Chisholm is her first baby. She's hopefully pregnant with her second. Peppermint Patty was our first cow, and she is a longhorn mutt. I just had to have her because she had longhorn. This is Lucy. She is an Angus cross. Her mom is Peppermint Patty, and she will be a year old in July. Frida is our newest addition. She is a Charolais cross, and she doesn't really care for us. I just think that silver color is so pretty. These are the Coturnix quail. I have 3 up there. They will be processed because they're all males. And I have 2 breeders down here and 2 breeders below them. I do like the white ones better. They seem to grow faster and bigger. We also have a bunch of bees. We have Idaho pasture pigs and no pasture available for them to graze on. So we're using the fence that used to be on the driveway protecting the trees to now make them an area to graze. At this point, we have been in the hundreds for over 2 weeks, and we have no cool down in the foreseeable future. I hate summer. We were going to give the bucks a show shave for pictures for our website, but my clippers wouldn't work, so I'm having to send them in to get sharpened and realigned. Anyway, we decided to give them a bath instead. They can get urine scalding, which is literally burning their skin from pee. So it's a good idea to wash it off every once in a while. A hay cutter caught fire on our neighbor's property. It's not 400 yards away from the back fence of our property. Derek and an intern of my neighbors were working in those trees building a deer blind when this hay cutter caught fire. It burned about 50 acres, didn't hurt any houses. It scorched the trees but didn't kill any trees. So everything that comes back should be better than what was there before. We've needed to cut the grass for a while, and after that fire, we better get moving on it. The blackberries and boysenberries are doing amazing out here. We collected a bunch and made some ice cream just a while ago. Here comes the boring part for Griffin, but here's how my garden's doing. I'm slowly working on my walkway. These are made from concrete and wood stain, so they don't look as good as they do on camera, but I'll take that. These are my roses I'd like to have climbing up the arbor. They're called Joseph's Coat. These are my 4th of July tomatoes. There's quite a few tomatoes on there, but I just gotta wait till they turn red. Next to it are the seed packets that were labeled Delicious Tomatoes from a trade show my parents went to. They've got lots of blooms on them, but no tomatoes yet. Sarah and I had planted these in April, and I think it was a little early for this type of green bean. They're doing okay now, but this one's being eaten probably by little bunny rabbits. This one is doing much better, but it's being eaten on by probably caterpillars, and then it's got aphids all over the bottom of the leaves, so I'll be spraying those today. These are my cucumbers that are bush cucumbers. The ones on the north side are doing better than the ones on the south side. I don't know why, but there's a little cucumber actually about ready for picking. My butternut squash are doing way better in a raised bed with full sun than they did at the house in part sun or at the Floyd garden last year in the ground. These are the bodacious hybrid tomatoes that are doing pretty well. They've got pretty big tomatoes on there, although I didn't show you. Here's the watermelons, cantaloupes, and honeydew melons. These are the squash and zucchini plants. The big ones here, they're a little hot right now. It's the middle of the day. These are all pumpkins back in the back. I plan on canning a lot of pumpkin puree this year. Next is more watermelons. So if we don't eat all of them, then our animals love watermelon. Here's the squash again. At the end of this row is some zucchini. And right in front, I found some potatoes in my little potato keeper that were sprouting, so I put them in the ground. We can't decide what kind of pepper that was. I'm thinking it's a habanero, but it's doing very well. The next one is a Carolina Reaper. I had to look at the tag. It's doing pretty well. These Reapers that I started from seed have chlorosis, which means they probably got too much water. So I installed a shutoff valve on this line so that we water that probably half as much as we water the rest of the garden. This is a snacking pepper I got from just the kinds you buy from the store, and I saved a seed. Next to it is a yellow bell pepper, and next to that is another snacking pepper. It also has chlorosis. Next to that is a red bell pepper. And then the last one is a green bell pepper, and you can tell why they're cheaper in the grocery store. They grow better. These are more potatoes that were sprouting in the house. And then I grew corn here, the container variety, and I didn't think it was growing really, so I put a bunch of sunflowers in it. Whatever takes over wins. These are my 2 remaining broccoli, and I think the rabbits again got to that broccoli. Here are my strawberries that I transplanted from the last garden, and actually I think they did better with a little bit of shade than they are in this full sun. This is the squash we originally put in the raised beds, and then we noticed it was doing better in the ground, so we made the in-ground area, and that's where we will grow it from now on. If anybody has any squash recipes, we have it coming out the eyeballs, so I will take them. These are my sweet potatoes, and some of them are doing well, and some of them look more puny. I don't know if the vine's doing better like this one is an indication of what they're doing below, but as long as we get some sweet potatoes, I'll be happy. Here's some more tomatoes. It's hard for me to throw seedlings away, so I just kind of took things in. And I'm going to give up on corn in the raised beds. It just doesn't work.
Rush around the brush, deep in the heart of Texas.